welcome. You are officially on Caribbean Island. Let's give them our lays, baby. One for you and one for you. Everybody got their lays. Okay, it's pretty, it smells nice. It's real flowers, baby. Real flowers. And on Caribbean Island, we have had the pleasure of celebrating nothing but love. Nothing but love. So if you got bad energy, negative energy, please, not here. Not here. It is nothing but love on Caribbean Island. Your favorite couples have chatted with your favorite couples for the past 12 days upon the island.
Whew, wow.
I cannot believe it's been that long, babe. And guess what? Erry and I are still so cuffed up. So a quick little introduction before we bring our special guest for tonight.
Yes.
This episode is in partnership with OmeproTV.
Ooh.
Okay, and we've got quite a few people to thank and to mention before we get started. We want to start with Roger Omeus Jr., okay? Roger Omeus Jr., who is writer, producer, director of the series we're going to be talking about tonight, Talks with Myself. And Roger is also known for Finding Me, okay, the series. And like we said, tonight we're going to talk about a decade-long, a Finding Me story. And we're also going to talk about Talks with Myself. So yes. Roger's going to come in. Haitian writer, producer, director is going to come in. Can we get some hearts in the comments for that, okay? Okay, because you know, yes, like they doing things and making moves. So Roger's going to come in, introduce himself in a little bit, and also introduce our characters for tonight who are playing the couple on this show, Talk with Myself, Morris and Curtis, okay? Played by Rasheed Thompson and Kenyon L. O'Brien. So a little bit about them before we start. Kenyon L. O'Brien started his career in Finding Me the series. He has since played a starring role in the popular web series Triangle. Okay, he's also written and directed that series. So we're about to hear from Kenyon. And of course, Rasheed Thompson, who plays Curtis, is a singer turned dancer. So Rasheed got some moves, okay? Turned actor with equal love for all three disciplines. Rasheed is an artist always seeking truth and authenticity and expression. The road has been varied, but all wisdom gained along the way has made the journey for Rasheed inexplicably beautiful. Okay? They can't explain it. You can't explain it. That word got me for a second for some reason.
Inexplicably.
Inexplicably. Okay, so that is Rasheed and Kenyon. We want to think about love and acceptance more like loving yourself enough to join a movement, right? Join this amazing project, which is storytelling. It is the telling of queer stories, okay? Thank you and shout out to Roger for making it happen. And I think that takes a lot of guts.
Yes.
That takes a lot of guts, and we're going to get into that. So without further ado, let us bring our guests on. Before we get started with them, we've got to thank our sponsor. This episode is so sponsored by Complete Wellness. Their team is all about supporting your journey to lifelong health with care, inspiration, and empowerment.
We are proud to have them in our corner.
Complete Wellness. Completely you. Roger, Kenyon, Rasheed, thank you so much for coming on tonight. How are y'all doing?
Hello. Good evening.
Hi.
So let's get into it, all right? So we've done sort of a small introduction to introduce each and every one of you. Roger, I think it's only right that we hear from you, the visionary, the writer, the producer, the director of this series. A little bit about yourself, you know, how you got into writing, producing, directing, and then an intro of Talks with Myself, and introducing the characters, Morris and Curtis, who we'll get to in a little bit. And then we'll give the boys the mic so that they can introduce themselves. But I'm sure everybody here is quite familiar with who they are, their long acting career, okay? And so we'll start with you, Roger, and get into things with Kenyon and Rasheed, okay?
Sure. It's just weird how they're both wearing the same color. That's
They coordinated. They said, we're not
no,
but we're going to get
no, they're just Capricorns, that's all. Anyways, So yeah, I started doing film back in 2007. I was inspired as a kid by the makings of Star Wars, which I used to watch on PBS. And so when I wrote the script back in 2007 for my first film, Finding Me, I assembled a cast and we all did the film within the year. Very shoestring budget type film, but it got picked up for distribution by TLA Releasing. So then we did the second film, which is Finding Me Truth, the sequel, and that got picked up by TLA Releasing as well for worldwide distribution. This is when DVDs were a thing. So both of them got distribution rights, DVD distribution rights. Then I turned the films into a series, continue the story of Finding Me the series, and that's where I met Kenyon. He originated the role of Morris back then. And we did 2 seasons of Finding Me, the series. Then the series ended. I took a quick break, and then I wanted to do an anthology series. It was called Decalogue, and Talks with Myself was a part of that anthology. And I wanted to do a series about the supporting characters from Finding Me. And Kenyon was a supporting character, so I wanted him to be the star of Talks with Myself. And that series is about Morris, who made a lot of mistakes. If you watch the Finding Me series, he fell in love with the main character, but the main character didn't know that he was married to a woman, and that came out later. So Talk to Myself is a confessional piece that Morris does on YouTube or any kind of platform where he confesses his sins, and you hear about the stories of other people that he have met through his experience.
Wow. Okay, there's a lot to unpack here.
So much.
A lot. Such great accomplishments, Roger. Congratulations to you.
Oh.
And we know that you are on the shooting star right now. It's only a matter of time before you take over the world with your stories, right? And I think we need more. We need more storytelling, especially of these kinds of stories, queer stories, where we can just exist, right? From watching it, a little bit of it myself, me and Erry. I mean, we are in love with everything that is going on, all the drama, all the tea. We're about to get into it in a little bit. So, boys, why don't we give y'all the space now to introduce yourselves, and then we'll ask each and every one of you a follow-up question after that. So we'll start with Rasheed, and then we'll go to Kenyon.
Oh man, you should have went the other way around.
Right. I should have given the star.
No.
He's a star. He's a star.
No. Well, Rasheed Thompson, I actually met Roger when he was working on the first film, and we had a time where we actually had a chance to work together, and some things happened. We lost contact over a few years, but I was working on another project, and the producer of that project was someone that he had worked with before, Fabian, and that got us back in contact. So literally probably within a month of that, we were right back at it, and I got to join the cast of Talks with Myself and play alongside Mr. Kenyon L. O'Brien.
That's right. That is right. And playing, you are definitely playing. We've seen you two in action. Okay,
Hey.
Mr. Kenyon L. O'Brien, the star. How are you? How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having us.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
You guys had some of my faves on here. I think it was the horoscope astrology 3.
Yeah.
Guys,
Yeah. Look, we had to have representation, okay? Charles, Ron, and Corey, everybody was up here, and y'all are the icing on the cake, okay? So thank you for making it tonight. Why don't you also tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey to acting, and how this entire experience has been for you so far?
So acting for me kind of just happened. It wasn't like I was looking for it to happen. It kind of like, oh, somebody wanted me to do something. So I was like, okay, I'll try it. In this instance, a friend of mine was working with Roger. He was a producer on the show, and I think he was a writer. I'm not totally sure. But we were like away somewhere, like on vacation or something. He was like, I have a part for you. And I was like, okay, whatever. So like fast forward, he was like, oh, you're gonna. I was initially supposed to play like a date of another character, and it was just supposed to be like one episode or one scene. And so I was like, okay, I'll do it. So then something happened like towards when they were about to start the series where the main love interest of Fabian, the lead character, dropped out. And so Roger was like, okay, so I think I need a new love interest, and that's how it's going to happen. And it kind of like played out in that sense. And here we are all these years later. So yeah, it's been pretty good.
All these years later, and you can tell us how many years. How many years has it been so far?
2012.
Yeah.
Since 2012. Okay, I had just graduated out of high school. Oh, yeah, I had just graduated out of high school.
Boy.
Wow.
But that means y'all have been at this, and I mean, to see the evolution of the stories, even to what it is today. So I think something like, to get started, we've been sharing the disclaimers, okay? Like it's very hard even for myself as somebody who's watched the show to look at you two and be like, oh my gosh, it's Morris and Curtis. But y'all are not a real couple. You play quite an interesting lovey-dovey couple, because we haven't really heard how either of you have auditioned for these roles. I know that Kenyon, Roger found you said you are definitely going to do the series back when you started together. But for these particular two roles, Morris and Curtis, how did you two, and we'll start with you, Kenyon, prepare for those roles, you know, to be able to portray and to give Roger exactly what he was envisioning for this series?
So starting from finding me the series, so my scene partner, my opposite, was a heterosexual. So I was kind of always like apprehensive or trying to be like respectful. I didn't know like the boundaries to where, you know, he would go or what was comfortable. So I was always like kind of cautious in that sense. But Ray is a professional. He's good at what he does. So it's always kind of like, it made it seem like, okay, this is good. It's believable. And so I was always nervous about that aspect. And then when we switched over to now he has to be with a woman. So it was like kind of like a, you know, teeter-totter balance, trying to figure out like, okay, now you got to do this. Let's do this. So it was always changing. And even now with Curtis and Morris, or all of the relationships he's had or situationships he's had leading up to this point, there has always been a different dynamic. So going into it, it's almost going into it with a clean slate, but also remembering where Morris is or has come from or where he's been, you know, and where he's going. So it's always that aspect of it.
Well, you know what? I think it's actually very bold of Morris, the character, to have done what he's doing on the series. And I know that there's sort of an evolution there with Morris, and it just feels like it's something a lot of folks, even here tonight, can relate to, right? Like, you obviously knowing what your battles and obstacles are. I believe, without spoiling it too much, there's also a child involved, right? With Morris's ex-wife, or no?
Maybe you watch it.
Okay. They don't want to get too much. See, this is what we're talking about. They're going to keep us in line. I made it to the last episode of season 5. So, the bravery that it takes for Morris to get on and to have these confessionals, right, and put it out in the world, has what Morris is going through and the theme of love and acceptance inspired you in any way? And Rasheed, we'll get to you in a little bit. Don't worry, we got you.
No worries.
How has Morris's character influenced you also, or maybe inspired you and your day-to-day and how you navigate and move in the world?
I think I'm not like Morris. I don't like, you know, getting on the video and like spilling all your business,
Right.
all that stuff. But it is you know, that's the day and age we live in, when everybody's coming on and it's like, oh, this is my business, and staying there day to day, you know, recording everything. But I do feel like when you see Morris, his trial and error, you do realize that they are a real life situation and they can easily happen to you or anyone else. So those situations can keep you keep your eyes open for things to stop it from happening, and being aware of your surroundings and how you deal with people, and how you show up for people as well. So yeah, I think it's that's a testament to Roger, because he kind of keeps it fresh and in the moment and present with everything that's going on. So yeah,
I love that. And we'll turn this over to you also, Rasheed. How have you been preparing for the role of Curtis, right?
Yeah.
Who, as Kenyon just mentioned, that supportive role of like being there for Morris, for all of what he's going through, okay? I think the role of Curtis really kind of just like steps in and is there no matter what. To me, that is also brave and that is also inspiring. How has your role also influenced you in some way?
Well, I would say first, just in preparing for it, I talk with Roger a lot. I really try to get into his mind, like outside of the writing or within the writing. I really love how he writes. I love how he thinks. I love how he asks questions. And it makes me do the same. It makes me investigate, and I think when I'm, walking around or on the train or anything like that, I'm always watching people, but I'm always like also curious, like, what made you do that? Or what was your day like? So all those little things kind of inform me about the type of person that Curtis is. And then I try to bring that, within the writing, bring that to the character, just being there for somebody, being understanding. He's also a teacher, you know what I mean? So I think there's that level of empathy, awareness, and kindness that you kind of just walk around with. And so I think, in the development of that understanding, it's always like trying to figure out, okay, today, how does this look? How does this feel? He's still a human being as well, but how do I get to support this person that I love and let them know, no matter what, I'm here,
Yeah. And I think that that's also something that can feel quite real as actors, as you two are trying to portray these two characters, but also together as professionals and working together on this show, right? The chemistry that we're receiving at the end has to be real, both in the story and also with you two.
All right, so the game we're gonna play tonight with you guys was called "Who's the Real Star?"
Who's the star?
Yes.
Who's the star?
Who's the star?
Okay.
All right, it was a fun game testing how well you both know your characters, the characters that you play, and each other, off screen. So without further ado, whose character would be more likely to plan a surprise romantic getaway?
Okay. Did y'all hear the question? Whose character will be most likely? You already pointed, Rasheed. Rasheed said Curtis.
Okay, all right, okay. So that's one.
Okay, wait. Is that true though? Is that true? Kenyon, you feel that?
yeah, I pointed.
Curtis is such a big teddy bear and so lovey-dovey. Yeah, Curtis be bothering Morris sometimes. I feel like Morris be like, "Boy, just leave me alone."
Right.
And would you say that is also you in person? Like you are also just like that in person. You would be the one that's very soft and
Me in person?
You're like,
nah.
Okay.
That's fair.
They're Capricorn, so they would cancel each other out.
They cancel each other out. Yeah. We're still gonna give it to y'all. We're gonna give them 1 point.
Well, they did get it right.
Okay. This next one.
Okay. I think I know the answer for this one. Whose character is more likely to take charge in a stressful situation?
Ooh.
I think it depends on the situation.
Yeah, I think it's
okay. All
depends.
right. Let me be more specific. Let's say y'all were on that podcast and the host was, asked you something out of pocket. Who would be more likely to, defend, to put on the boxing gloves?
Yeah.
Boxing? Yeah, Morris.
It's on site. Let me tell you, you got one all the way together. You got one all the way together in that last one. You said one.
One was a little messy.
One, I be want to fight one. I'm like, one. Stop playing with me. Do not bring me onto this show. We will have I'll give you a real good show tonight, one. Okay, no, I saw that in Morris for sure. Okay, this one can be a two-part question.
Who took longer to memorize their lines?
Wait. Are you pointing at Rasheed?
Yeah.
Hey, Rasheed. He threw you under the bus.
I don't know how he does it. I swear he blinks and he can remember a whole page. It's like I don't know how he does it. It's a miracle every time it happens because I'm always like, nah, I had to like work to remember this stuff. So like it's yeah, but no, he's quick with it. Like you can switch it up on him even and throw like a whole new something and he'll like 2 seconds later it's like, all right, I got it.
Oh, and would it be like memorizing word for word, or you're kind of like improvising while you go along, or is it like word for word memorization?
I
guess it depends on it.
Yeah.
Most times it's word for word, but you always can. Like Roger lets us how we feel it, or how we would say it, or how we think the character would say it. He lets us have that kind of range a little bit, and without going too far from what the actual scene or line is supposed to be.
Okay, and there, guys, you have it actors, you know.
Yes, because let me tell you, it's an art form. You can't just. And the thing is too, when you have all those lines for the aspiring actors here tonight, what tip would you share with them, Kenyon, as far as like how you memorize your lines so well? Like, what's the secret?
For me, a lot of times I know my scene partner's lines before I know mine, because I know how to respond to them. So if I know what they're saying, I already know what my lines are going to be. And that's why sometimes on the spot, like if like something happens where you can improvise to actually answer to what they're saying. But I think a good thing is to like read through it, because you want to basically get the words first and then figure out how it's going to play out in the scene, because you can read it and it may not come off like that once you get in the scene on set. And it's also, it helps to be flexible and don't be too like rigid to what you think it is until you get in front of the person that you're going to be acting with, because it's going to change, because they have their different style, you have your different style, and those two have to meet, you know, in the middle.
Yeah, I was going to say that the both of them have their own styles. Kenyon seems more like a technical. He remembers his lines and the other scene partner's lines. Rasheed has to feel the line, so they're both in different ways are asking me details about what happened before, what happened afterwards, especially because we film out of order. We never film in complete sequences, but both of them have their own method. So any actor who's watching this, you have to find your method of remembering the line. Some people, like I said, Rasheed feels. He has to feel what's happening, and Kenyon is more technical. I think I don't even know if that's the right word, but it is a process that they both have.
Wow. Okay. Tony Award. Okay, here I come. Oscars. Can we be invited when you two finally receive the award for? Okay, Roger, make sure to put us on that VIP list.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question, y'all. We're about to get a little versatile up in here with y'all. Okay. All right. So if you two could swap roles for a day, right? If you could be Curtis or you could be Morris, what's the first scene you'd want to do as each other?
If I was Curtis, I probably would. And this is more to Roger, I will go to the store and buy some new clothes. Roger will have him in. He's like, yeah, just wear that. Rasheed's like, what? Yeah, just wear that. Just wear that. This hat? Yes, wear that. Wear that. It's like, okay.
That's not true.
That's not true?
No.
Okay.
There is a thought process that goes behind.
There you go, Rasheed.
Oh man. Probably one of the first ones that we did, where Morris is crying in the hallway. I think that one would be a moment. But he has so many good scenes, man. Yeah, I mean, there's that one. There's the one where he's talking to his father. Like that one really hit too. But yeah, I would say probably that first time when he's crying.
Yeah.
That
Okay,
first.
not to dig too much into that or get too personal, but why that one? How was your series character relationship with his family? Like, how does that compare to your relationship with your family in your life?
You're saying the scene when he's speaking to his
Yeah.
father. Uh, I mean, yeah, I don't really have it. It does mirror a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really speak to my father often, but it was more so the sensitivity of the person that was also playing his father,
Mm-hmm.
and then also what was written in the scene. It was like it was a beautiful moment. It was just a beautiful moment just to be able to play into that. You know what I mean? To have a on-screen relationship and have something reflected back where it's like, oh, this is a father and a son actually having a conversation that they would really have about a dad not being able to accept or understand his son's sexuality, and then the son having to stand on his own 2 feet and really say like, hey, this is it, this is what it is. You know what I mean? And I don't need you to agree or I'm not really looking for your
Yeah.
approval, but this is who I am. You know what I mean? And I'm your
Yeah.
son. Like at the end of the day, you know what I mean? So it's like I'm a part of you, and you standing on your own 2 feet should mean I can stand on my own 2 feet as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I think there are themes of that that are both real and present in the series Talks with Myself. But now that we have completed the game, congratulations, boys.
Hey.
Y'all have 4 points for tonight, right? 4 points.
Well, how did wait? Hold on. I'm competitive. So how did people get 8 points?
Well, they answered more questions.
So why we don't have more questions?
Y'all want more questions?
I mean, look, I'm competitive. Look,
Oh! Let's throw 5 more questions in there. I just don't want to keep it up here forever, and we want to really get into some things. But I'm down for more.
Go ahead, really get into some things. Okay, the game's over. We ain't winning anyway. We can't get.
Wow, Kenny, you're so competitive. Such a sore loser.
You didn't get. We had an unfair advantage.
I'm there with you, Kenyon. I'm right there with you.
Okay. You know what? This doesn't have to be the last because there is definitely more about Talks with Myself coming. And SoKarl&Erry volunteered to interview the wonderful Rasheed and Kenyon again, right, Roger?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
On the theme of love and acceptance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Do you feel like there's still stigma for actors, especially male actors that play gay roles?
Yeah.
Like how, do you think that there's still stigma, and also how did that affect you going into playing this role? Did you like reconsider playing this role, or how did you go in knowing that you would receive like some not always positive but negative feedback from the people watching?
And I think we can hear both from the perspective of the actor, right? And then also you, Roger, the storyteller of putting out these kinds of stories. What stigma or what experiences come with that? So we'll start with Rasheed and Kenyon and then Roger.
Well, I would say yes, absolutely. There's still stigma, and I think the more you audition, the more you realize that casting directors, they don't really have that much of an imagination, and so it's so important for what you're bringing in front of them and what they're seeing, and or their people, what they're putting in front of them before they meet you. It's so important that those things be of quality, that they speak to the diversity of your work and of the type of work that you can do. Because they don't have an imagination, and it's more so, and that's why you see certain people play the same roles over and over again, not because they can't play other roles, but because the people making the decision haven't seen them do it, so they think that they can't. And I think it's really important that we just push that envelope on all fronts. You know what I mean? One, everybody should be able to have an opportunity to play anything, because as an actor, that's what you're doing. You're stepping into somebody's life. You're portraying something. You have a point of view that you want to share. And I think it's important to have a chance to do that, And so, sorry, I feel like I'm jumping around. But the second part, how did it affect the choice to play the role, is it makes it more informed. It makes it more delicate in terms of making sure that what you're doing that you can stand on it and be proud of it and share it, you know, so that other people can also be influenced by that choice. But you do see, absolutely, I feel like people are absolutely pigeonholed, and it's unfortunate because it's a lot of talent out there that gets pigeonholed,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And that is not for you or Kenyon, okay? That's not happening because y'all are so multifaceted and, you know, really multi-dimensional characters and performers. So we see you everywhere pretty soon, all over Times Square, baby. All over Times Square. What about you, Kenyon?
I think for me, it's always like I think with the acting realm, where I feel like they don't allow. I guess because they want the people to be an actor, they don't allow people within that community to play the role they want to be portrayed, and that's just all through, you know, Hollywood, TVs, movies, all that. They have a heterosexual man playing a gay character, or the only gay character that can be a star or the front runner is a flamboyant one, not masculine presenting. And I think that's always been a thing I like about Roger's writing and the cast is its array of up and down everything, to where these are people that I come in contact with or I see on a daily basis, and not just what we see on TV. Because what we see on TV is basically what the heterosexual community is comfortable with seeing. They're not comfortable seeing a masculine presenting man that you can see in the locker room next to another straight man. You know, they're not comfortable with that, so they need to see something that you can see like 10 miles coming down the street at you. And also, I think with Black gay men series, they feel it's always supposed to be about just sex, and not an actual storyline. And the stories that Roger tell are things that you may experience, or you know someone who has gone through it, or you know somebody that may go through it, and you have that backing to say, okay, this is what happened, I can deal with it. And it's not always about, I think a lot of stories was always about HIV and AIDS and all this stuff, and Roger has kind of steered clear from that, which is good. Because it's not like, oh, this is another one. We know how this is going to end. This is messy. It's going to be all like that. So I feel like in that sense, we try to stay away from that box and be outside of it. So I like that.
The thing we love about Roger's writing is that he acknowledges that, you know, the Black queer community is not a monolithic group. We are so diverse. There's so many different parts to us. So it's good that we showcase all those parts. I think we were having a conversation before where I was telling him that one of the actors in there I know is Jamaican. So it's good to see people on screen that have like my accent or look like me. That's showing how diverse our community is and is able to have like more people watch and see themselves in the characters that he's writing.
You're talking about Weston and Muscle. Weston and Muscle. We hear the twang.
His real name is Chad Bailey.
Chad Bailey. We hear the Jamaican twang in there. Okay, your turn, Roger.
They both said it very eloquently.
Is there anything you'd like to add about what this experience has been for you, Roger, in terms of writing the story?
How difficult has it been for you to get your series in front of those people who are the game changers in the industry, who are making the moves? How difficult has it been getting in front of those people to see your story and not wanting to change the story that you wrote or retell it?
I want to keep this as short as possible. I don't feel like I don't feel like I'm known in the ethos, you know, which is fine. I do this because I want to tell a story. I'm not doing this for the flowers. I'm not doing this for the accolades. I'm doing this because I want to tell the truth of our stories from my point of view, living in the Northeast. But I've had some challenges, even trying to explain to the distribution company that, you know, it was a white male dominated company, and for the second movie, Finding Me Truth, there is a female on the cover of the DVD. And I had to fight to keep her on there. They didn't want her on there because they were like, well, gay men don't want to see that. And I had to let them know, well, black gay men do love a diva. They love any woman that is, that kind of flair. So don't you want to open your audience beyond just the white gaze and have, this is a story about black men and the people who are around them. So I've had to compromise telling or showing clips of actual scenes and compromising that with putting up scenes of sex, even if it's just the thumbnail, because that's kind of where we fall. And I hope that we are more than just that. There's a whole story that's going on that needs to be told. And I'm hoping that our group, our community, can see beyond just the sex. Because we're more than just that. We're more than just that.
Absolutely. And it probably is just a kind of like a strategy to really catch the eye, grab their attention. And the story is so well written that even with the sex, right, folks can stay and get into the individual stories, the substance that these characters bring onto the show. So I think it's superb. I definitely do think it's more than the body yaddy yaddy that the boys are serving us on the show. And
there's nothing wrong with it, though. There's nothing. Everyone, look, sex sells. Eye candy is great, but it's more. There's more than just that.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, y'all have definitely taken us to church tonight. We have had a couple of pre-submitted questions. We're just gonna ask a few because we have been here with y'all having so much fun for too long.
Minus the
technical difficulties. Our first pre-submitted question is on the topic of representation. Okay, so and I think it goes along the lines of what you said when it comes to what sells, what we have online, how black men are typically portrayed on social media and movies and stories. Is there an issue for you all with the way that black men are typically represented on social media? Black gay men, where it's overly sexualized.
I think it goes back to what Roger was saying when they didn't want the woman on the cover, they wanted men.
Right.
White men have a history of sexualizing the black physique.
Right.
So I would see why they would want to push that on the cover and not the diva.
I agree with
so
that.
You're like, is there an issue? I'm sure there. How do you feel about the portrayal of black queer men in general? Like, that is being told from a white lens.
I think the fact that they constantly show are more comfortable or will greenlight series where you see more effeminate gay black men, which there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that representation. But I feel like they don't know what to do with not only I want to say masculine presenting, just regular black gay men. I don't think they know what to do with that. And that's why, for me, that's my mission to show that we're just regular people. We come in different sizes and looks. So yeah, I don't think they know what to do with it. And then so they just chalk it up to, well, this is what women will like. Because a lot of the consumers, a lot of these networks, they know the consumers are mainly women for TV shows like.
I had no idea about that.
Well, I'm speaking generally, you know what I mean? Because women are consumers. So if you're doing a show like, say, Girlfriends, you're not going to see the male version of that show. It's not. There was a male version of, say, Sex and the City. I forgot the name of it. It was on HBO. But it didn't do as well because women are usually the consumers of buying drinks, going to brunch. But so are gay men. Yeah. And that's why I feel like they're missing out a huge portion of that just by showing us as we normally are.
You know what? And as you continue to tell your stories, hopefully that will change, and you're helping in that effort to kind of show them a different market, clientele. Gay men are here to stay. We ain't going anywhere. Okay.
I just have one more question. I really wanted to know, like, what has it been, or what's your favorite part about working with each other?
I think the favorite part is that I think everybody works off each other. Like, we kind of just ping pong off each other when we're working together, because we're always trying to make the scene the best possible. And I think the the best part about it is Roger allows us to be comfortable with the script and allow us to sit in it and make it our own while still sticking to the story. And, you know, most people are like, this is what I wrote, you know, go with this. But he also asks us and he takes feedback. He asks us, well, how would you do this? How do you see this? And so it's a lot of always brainstorming throughout the whole project. So I really like that aspect of it. And also we have a lot of fun on set, before and after and during. So yeah.
It's all good vibes on that island over there. Just as much vibes on this island over here.
What about you, Rasheed?
Same. I would piggyback on that. It's such a community. It's like there's love. It's organic. You know what I mean? It feels good. Whenever we come together, even though we're coming together for work, it's like it's a good time. We hang out after, we hang out before sometimes. And it's rare. That's kind of like a rare situation. You know what I mean? Like you don't get that on every set. So to feel like you're always coming around your family is a great feeling to come to work into, you know?
You said we are family. All right, y'all. Let's not keep everybody here for too long. But we did want to thank y'all for coming on, for sticking with us for so long. So, boys, have y'all had a wonderful time on Caribbean Island?
Yes.
Thank
you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Guys, the lays. So we're gonna give you the lays on the way out. Okay. So here you go.
Okay. Thanks. It's the pineapple with the cocktail in it. That's what we need.
That's what y'all need. Y'all need
Some wine.
Y'all need y'all need several drinks after this. Okay?
But thank y'all for being such great sports.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for having us.
Felt the love, felt the energy. Y'all enjoy the rest of your night, and we'll catch y'all
Oh,
on the next time. Oh, the photo time. Wait. Okay, y'all ready? All right, y'all. Have a great night. We will see y'all again very soon, and thank y'all for sticking around on Caribbean Island. Okay?
Thank
Thank
you.
you for having
Good
us.
night.
Thank you.